welcome to another Fight the Night review. This is for the one that took place last night at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. It was between Evloev and Diego Lopes, and it was the second fight along the main card, I believe. So, as always, I'm going to break it down round by round as best as I can, and it's just nice to have another Fight of the Night to talk about because it's been a fucking while. So let's go. And as always, we obviously begin with round one, and the two touch gloves. Nice bit of respect from them, although I did find it noteworthy. A couple of things before we actually start talking about the fight. First of all, Bruce Buffer mispronounced Lopes' surname as just Lopes, which I found kind of funny. And secondly, Lopes is a year younger than Evloev and has 10 more fights. So, yeah, that was that was something I felt worth bringing up. But anyway, round one starts pretty well and pretty fun, all things considered. I think Lopes opens with a pretty big strike. First of all, Evloev is able to counter. Then they both wobble quite well early on, and then Lopes lands something big, and he has Evloev against the cage. Evloev is able to use his blocking though, and catches a kick from Lopes, and lands a punch on him and knocks him down. And then most of the rest of round one is a ground battle, although after the knockdown, Lopes does try and secure a leg lock, but Evloev is able to roll through and winds up on top and just lands a whole heap of ground and pound on Lopes. That's kind of it. There's not really much else to talk about in round one. The first minute was very exciting. The next 4 minutes were mostly kind of meh. I think Lopes might have gone for another armbar at some point in round one or two. The only other thing I remember about the armbar was the fact that as Evloev was rolling through with it, he was able to bring up his own knee to counter the armbar and it alleviate the pressure so he wouldn't tap. So I have to give Lopes some credit for fighting off his back with a lot of really good submissions. But yeah, round one, very definitively going to Evloev. If it was still a stand-up war, I think Lopes would have won it, but Evloev did the smart thing, took Lopes down, well, countered him with a punch to knock him down, then leapt on him with some good ground and pound. So yeah, I give round one pretty openly to Evloev. And in round two, much like the story of round one being Evloev controlling Lopes on the ground, round two was him controlling Lopes on the feet. He was just boxing over and over again, mixing things up to the body, landing really good hooks to the body, doubling up on his jab quite a bit. Yeah, round two, Evloev was just controlling Lopes a lot on the feet. He wasn't even trying to hurt him, he was just landing to hit him. He was landing very accurately, and it seemed to work for the most part. I think he did throw a spinning back kick at some point, but, you know, it didn't really land, and Lopes didn't really pick up on the opportunity to counter, so I don't know, that was kind of a nothing thing. The only other thing worth bringing up in round two, before I bring up the rest of the noteworthy things in round two, was I think there was an accidental eye poke from Evloev to Lopes, but it was like a very, very fast brush off, and like Lopes was completely fine. I don't remember if it was Lopes that got poked or Evloev that got poked. Either way, it was like a fast scrape thing. But after that, and at some point in the later stages of round two, Lopes does land a pretty good left that seems to wobble Evloev, but Evloev does manage to get a takedown and basically control the last, 2 minutes of round two. And yeah, again, opening with good ground pound. Lopes is trying to throw submissions up, doesn't really catch Evloev with anything. This might have been the round where he lands, where he goes for the armbar. I don't really know, but Evloev just mixing up to the body and to the head with the punches, landed a really good ground pound. Even landed a few good punches from a stacking guard that broke through Lopes' guard. But yeah, round two, also very openly and quite easily to Evloev. Next is the third and final round, and round one, Evloev controlled the ground. Round two, he controlled the stand-up game. Round three, he controlled the clinch quite a lot. He just holds Lopes against the cage for a lot of it. He does, however, put himself at risk, does Evloev, as he goes for a takedown roughly around the halfway point. Lopes is able to, because he's really good at jiu-jitsu, he's able to turn it into a Kimura, and a really nasty looking one because he's got it mounted and he's able to get a sort of like a top mount thing with it. Evloev is able to escape it quite well though. In round one or two, there was also a really good looking side style triangle. That might have been round two, I don't really know. That was from Lopes to Evloev. Evloev was able to get out of it. And three fell again very defensively in Evloev's corner. However, it was probably the closest round in terms of its ground game because of the fact that while Evloev was controlling Lopes on the ground, Lopes was throwing up some nasty looking submissions, and to close out the round and indeed the fight itself, he did have a nasty looking knee bar. Well, he had a variant of an ankle lock or something at some point, but Evloev rolled out and spun with it and tried to get away from it, but then Lopes switched to the other leg for an knee bar, but there was only a few seconds left in the round and Evloev didn't tap. There's not really much else worth bringing up in round 3, besides the ground game. I mean, the submissions looked really good and they popped the crowd, but yeah, no, round 3 was mostly just a clinch game and Evloev landing some really good structure on that clinch. There was a good moment, because it was mostly like a back clinch, there was a good moment where he threw like a front kick around the side and hit Lopes in the head. That was kind of good. A lot of the boxing before the clinching was pretty good, especially from Evloev. I don't know, it just felt very one-sided in favour of Evloev. I can't really think of anything worth bringing up, or anything that I've missed, really, that's important, so I'll just get to the conclusion. I don't know, we have to talk about it. So, I think if this fight were as good as its first minute, it could easily be a top 10 thing, but I don't know, this fight kind of dragged a little bit. For a 3-round fight, I didn't really get a lot out of it. I thought Lopes, I will give Lopes all the credit in the world for his performance. He was able to hang in there, he threw some nasty looking submissions, and it's just pure stubborn sheer will that Evloev didn't tap out. But there was some really good striking within the first minute. I don't know, I just felt like the fight was way too one-sided. Evloev controlled and dictated way too much of the pace. He was wobbled a fair bit, most of that in round 1, most of that in minute 1 of the entire fight. You know, he was kind of shook in round 2. In round 3, it was mostly the submissions that kept him off guard, but he looked very confident and in control. He didn't look all that worried, really. So I don't think this one's going to be my top 10. I still recommend you go give it a watch for yourself. You know, it's got some fun things in it, but yeah, I don't know. I really wanted more back and forth for my first fight of the night coverage in like almost a month. I was very underwhelmed by this one. It was very, very one-sided. Yeah, I know. It might be worth a go. But that's about it from me. The next thing you'll see me for will likely be Music of the Week on Thursday, and then on Friday, War of Attrition, the pay-per-view. I still need the logo for it, and I've like got fucking 5 days to make the arena. Good lord pants. But that's for then. I can't really think of much else to say. And on Tuesday the Go Home Show pods will be uploaded. So yeah, there's that. So I will end it off here because I can't think of anything else to say. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.